Today we are joined by the founder of the Property Circle, Stephen Hamilton.
Do things that other people can't do. That's how you get to the top. That's how you get up there.
I guess again the top is where you want it to be.
Yeah, you just got to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't listen to anybody that tells you not to do it. Yeah, trust is number one.
Yeah.
Trust is number one in anything, not just property.
Yeah, of
so
course.
if people trust you, then if you deliver on everything that you say you're going to deliver on, there's no reason not to trust you. And that's what we promote massively in the circle.
Today we are joined by the founder of the Property Circle, guys. You might know him as Steve or Stephen Hamilton. So Steve, how's it going today, mate? You okay?
Great day as usual, Max. Always
Always
happy.
a great day.
Always happy.
So obviously you are the first guest on the Property Circle podcast. Do you want to just quickly explain why you've decided to come on the podcast?
Yeah, because we launched a TPC podcast weekly and our first guest is tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
And we've decided that it would be best if I was on first, get my side of who I am, what I do.
Yeah, because it's going to be both me and you, isn't it?
Yeah, we're
Talking to some
co-hosting it
people.
together.
Yeah.
We've got a great lineup over the next 6 weeks of people in the property world that are coming on. So I thought if I put my face out there today on the podcast, at least when we do launch the channel, it's not just me sitting behind there and everyone's like, wow, where did he come from?
Yeah. So you're kind of here to, I guess, explain your story, where you've come from. So it's kind of an opportunity for us to get to know you a little bit better, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which
a lot
is
of
cool.
people know me, but on social media, no one knows me.
I know, yeah. I get messages, so I don't know how many messages you get a day just sort of thinking, right, why do you not show your face? Obviously, we're going to come on to that, but why you don't show your face? What's the reason behind it? So,
Who are you?
who are you?
That's the one I get most.
Do you?
Yeah, all the time. Who are you? Why don't you show your face?
Okay, well, Stephen Hamilton, who are you?
The founder of the property.
Good answer. So where did that all come about then? So what made you begin, obviously, not showing your face on Instagram and social media and stuff?
I'm not one who likes my photo being taken. You, on the other hand, are completely the opposite of me. You're a showman. I'm not. And I was at an event and someone shouted over saying, Steve, quick, I'm going to take a picture. I was leaning up against a wall. And as the guy took the picture, I literally just put my head down.
Mm-hmm.
And he come over with his phone and he went, that's a really cool picture. I was standing next to a photograph and he sent me the image and I showed a couple of people the image and they was like, Steve, you need to start social media. You need to have a bit of a...
Oh, of course, yeah, you didn't even have social
brand.
media at that time, did you?
No, this was like March last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
Maybe February last year. And I was like, not into social media. I don't really like the idea behind it and stuff. It's great for building a brand. But I already had a decent brand that wasn't me. It was the business. So I looked at the picture, showed a few people the picture, and they was all like, let's send it to someone on a website called Fiverr, where you can hire people.
Yeah.
And someone turned it into a Simpson cartoon. And to be fair, it came back. It was really, really cool.
Did you have any intentions of that happening?
Actually, I posted it on my first ever social media post and it gained a little bit of traction. And then over the last 14, 15 months, it has actually become something quite big.
I was going to say, well, it's your personal brand now, I guess, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it actually has become a personal brand. And when people speak to me, they automatically refer to that image straight away. First thing they say is, oh, that image is so cool on your social media. So I will still run that brand, but I also need to put my face to things now so people...
Yeah, and I mean, something that you say quite a lot of is branding is key. Like, you've got it literally everywhere now, haven't you? You've got it on the van, you've got it on a chain, you've got it on your floor mats on your car, everything. You'll kind of just plaster it everywhere.
Yeah, branding is key.
Yeah.
Branding is the biggest thing. People trust in brands, they understand brands, they want to believe in brands. So yeah, I went for it and went all out.
That's cool. It is very cool. And I think what we should do is just rewind all the way back now to sort of like your past, so like your childhood. Where did you come from then, Steve? So where have you began?
So I was born in Sandwell, which is by the West Bromwich Albion football ground, who I obviously support. I don't know what you're laughing at. Got a Villa fan here, guys. We've got a couple of fans behind the camera there.
We won't get into the football subject. We'll leave that for now.
Yeah, we'll.
Just for your sake. That's all I'm saying that for.
Calm down, Max. Take a break. No. So I was born in Sandwell by the West Bromwich Albion ground. Family, not very, didn't have a lot of money basically.
Yeah.
But didn't really have a great childhood if anything. Wasn't the worst childhood, but it wasn't a great childhood. Moved house a few times. Grew up on a council estate in Willenhall. A great thing about growing up on a council estate is you learn a lot of different characters, I believe. You understand people really well. And it's a great community. If it wasn't for where I'm from, I don't think I would be where I am today. So it's really important. I wouldn't change anything in my past. I really believe that everything that you do, there's a path, and it's led me to where I am today. We didn't know much about wealth. We didn't know much about property, ownership of business. None of that is really taught where I'm from. Obviously, in schools you don't get taught none of that. But just growing up, I think the biggest thing from where I'm from is the strongest survive. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I have a lot of people to thank for where I am today. They don't know it, but I learned a lot of lessons from a lot of people from where I'm from. I still go back to where I'm from now. I don't go back as much as you think. I probably go there once a month, as I still have probably two of the closest people in my life that live there.
Yeah. Did those two people have any impact in where you are today?
One did. He's been around me for a very long time. He has really good morals and ethics. I'm not going to name his name, but he knows who he is. He taught me a lot, and he's always there at the end of a phone when I need to speak to somebody, or if there's something that I can't figure out myself, and I don't have to ask him the question directly. He kind of knows there's something that I'm trying to figure out. So yeah, so it is good. I enjoy conversations with the people from my past.
I was going to say, do you think that's important then to have those kind of people around you? Do you think if it weren't for that person, it'd be very difficult for you to get to where you are today, just because of the fact that you've got someone there, shoulder to cry on, or not crying, but someone to talk to?
You need people.
Yeah.
People around you is the most important thing. You can't do anything on your own.
No.
I think the saying is faster along, further together. Mm-hmm. I'm very much, you've been around a while now, Max, and you see how many people we have around us. We try and surround ourselves with people who are better than what I am at certain things. I think that's important. I only take advice from people that have done stuff as well. I mean, I wouldn't ask a question to somebody who's not done something that I'm trying to do. So being around the right people, I think, is key. It's something I live by. A lot of people might think they don't agree with that, but who you surround yourself with, I believe, is the most important thing. And I got rid of a lot of people out of my life 5, 6, 7 years ago. And if you look back at it from where I was then and where I am today, you can see the growth. And I actually believe by cutting out the right people has helped me grow and become a bit more successful than where I am today.
Yeah. So obviously coming back into property then, what actually made you get started in property and actually get into the whole property world?
I bought my first buy-to-let 8 years ago. I bought it in my personal name. I didn't know much about putting it into a limited company and all the new regulations and stuff that have come out, which I'm not going to bore you with today. But I bought it about 8 years ago, spent about £30,000 renovating it, rented it out, and I didn't really pay much attention to it. It was just an income that came in every month. I carried on with whatever businesses I had at the time, and it was great. I didn't really think about it, didn't give it much thought until about 18 months after that. I was like, well, I've earned this much money from this property by putting this much in. You know, maybe I should look at buying a couple others or a couple of more similar properties. So I had some extra money from one of the businesses. So I bought another 2 houses, I think, and done the same module, rented them out, turned them into houses and multiple occupancy to start with.
Okay.
Which I don't focus much on anymore. HMOs is not my avenue. I'm not really keen on them anymore. But I had another 2, so then I had 3 at the time, and the income was really, really good. And that's when I started researching it more. I started reading a lot of books, looking around at the right people. I never actually went on no programs or courses, as you call them, or any education stuff. I was self-taught.
Yeah.
I asked the right people. I went around the right people.
Surrounded yourself with the right people.
Yeah, I started speaking to people who had portfolios of like 200, 300, 400 properties. That was in my circle, my network of people. and they were talking to me. So my experience come from people who are actually doing what I wanted to do and being where I wanted to be.
Yeah. So do you think, like, subconsciously in the back of your mind, then obviously, because we mentioned earlier, the way that you've got to where you are today is because of obviously the people that are around you, because of the people that you surround yourself with. Do you think that creating the property circle, the intentions were to give people similar opportunities, and so they've got, like you say, somebody next to them to just help them out when they need a question answered?
100%. It was created for the network. It was never created with the intentions to sell courses, sell programs, upsell stuff. It was created to give people a network of people that when they had a question, like they send me on Instagram or now on other social media platforms, they can send it to the group. And there's hundreds of people in there that will answer the question immediately.
So it's almost like all of these messages that you were getting on Instagram, combined with the fact that, you know, having people around you is 100% times better than doing it on your own. Combine them two together. That's what created the property circle.
Yeah, that is exactly what it was. The property circle was created to create a network of people, like-minded people, intelligent people, people who have basic knowledge of property that want to improve. It's a whole mix.
Yeah.
It's a whole mix of people.
So included in the property circle, then there is quite a big figure, obviously, within property, Jack Smith. Shout out to Jack Smith. So what happened there then? How did you come into contact with Jack? What happened?
Jack Smith DM'd me on Instagram one day and we started talking.
Asking you for some property advice?
No, Jack's very intelligent. He understands what he has a goal.
Yeah.
And he understands how he needs to achieve that goal. So he messaged me and I was traveling up north to visit one of our properties the next day, and he lived in Birmingham at the time. Now he lives in Manchester. And I just said to him, if you fancy coming for a drive, I'm going up on my own. You're more than welcome to come. And he turned up the next day. We spent 13 hours together and really hit it off. Went backwards and forwards with what we were trying to do, who we are, what our plans are. And that was our relationship. It was built that day around that car journey.
That's a long time, isn't it, really, to have that kind of car journey? So then from that moment, what made Jack become a part of the property circle?
So I think the final straw was I got a DM from somebody saying that they'd just spent £7,500 on a property program and they was about to take a loan out to pay the deposit on a buy-to-let mortgage, which they couldn't afford because they couldn't afford to pay the loan back either. And they was counting on this property giving them this much money back from rent, which was delusional. It was outrageous, the figure they was talking about. I think it was triple what the actual real value of the rental was. And I just messaged the guy back saying, it's not going to work. You can't do that. That's not going to happen. You're going to get yourself in a lot of trouble. He knew he was going to get in trouble anyway because he messaged that and he had the doubts in his mind. As soon as you've got a doubt in your mind, you've already lost half the battle. So I met him. I told him where I lived, not my address and my house, obviously, but I told him where I lived, what area. And I was like, if you want to pop down tonight, I can help you. I'll see what I can do with the money you've lost. And, you know, we'll try and figure out a plan. Because I think it was his final £7,500 he had at the time. And then he screenshotted me a picture of his bank, which was in his overdraft. And I think just something came over me. I felt feeling sorry for someone is not the right word I'm looking for. I did feel sorry for him, but it kind of got me to the point where you've just spent £7,500, which technically could have been the deposit on the property he was buying. It was a very good 80% portion of it. So I said, this is where I live. This is the area. If you want to learn and you want to and you want some help, come and see me tonight. And I mean, it was like 7, 8 o'clock at night. An hour and 20 minutes later, he found me and he sent me a picture. He was in like the town centre.
Like sort of vicinity, yeah.
Yeah, where I live. So I got in my car, drove out, sat with him for about 45 minutes and we had a really good conversation. He explained to me about his life and some of the bits and pieces, what was going on and stuff like that. And I think from that night, I was like, right, yeah, we need to definitely do something about this. So I spoke to Isabella and I said to her, we need to help these people. We need to stop these programs taking advantage of people who don't have that kind of money and are desperate to create financial freedom as it's portrayed all over social media, and see if we can help them in the right way. So next day I turned up at the offices that we're in, and there was a space downstairs, and I took the space on and I sent a picture to Jack, and I was like, Jack, here's the address, come and see us. He said, what's going on? I said, unless you come, I'm not going to tell you. You've got an hour. This was at 7:00 at night. He turned up into an empty space of a room with grey carpet, no furniture, white walls. And he was like, what are you planning, Steve? And I was like, we're going to create a circle, a network of people, and this is what we're going to do. And we sat on the floor. There was me, him, Isabella, one of my closest friends, Luke. And we had about a 3-hour conversation of what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. We all agreed. And then the next day, the Property Circle was born, but under another name.
Yes. So what was the original name of the Property Circle then?
Truth, Lies and Property.
And explain to me and to the guests where did that come from then? Why Truth, Lies and Property, and then why did you change it then to the Property Circle?
So we was going to start it with Truth, Lies and Property because obviously we was going to tell the truth about property, the lies about property, and the whole thing was about property. And we started posting out on social media, Truth, Lies and Property, and then we started getting a lot of negative comments back from people who are in the property world, people with good standing as well in the property world. They had a really good social media presence, a YouTube presence. And there was like, Steve, are you attacking us? Are you coming after us? And I was like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong and your programs are successful, no.
Got no reason to attack you or go after you.
I'm not attacking you, but if you feel I'm attacking you, then there's something wrong. And then one of my things is, Max, as you'll know, being nice, be kind, don't attack people for no reason. If someone's done something wrong, have the conversation. But if you've got nothing nice to say to somebody, just don't say it, don't speak to them. So I kind of got in my head, I'm going about this the wrong way. So I changed it back to what we discussed in the room that night, the Property Circle. And I started posting out under that, the Property Circle. And this is where we are today.
No, it's good. And I think you are right. And like when people were saying that, it does, you kind of look back at it now and think the Property Circle obviously does sound a lot more welcoming than sort of Truth, Lies and Property. But then again, it was only really the other educators or the people in the property world that were kind of not scared, but a little bit like, well, what do you mean lies and things like that? Because obviously it's a bit of a controversial subject and topic really, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of people in the property world that are bringing no value. They have great social media presence. They have all the trappings of a fancy lifestyle. And when it comes to teaching, they are teaching shit. They're talking nonsense. The schemes that they teach are not right. They don't actually go in depth. They fluff it up. They make it look good. They make it look easy. This isn't easy. The property world is an easy business to grasp if you've got common sense and you understand people. It's easy in that sense. It's not easy to make the money from it. It doesn't come overnight. It takes a long time to get a good income. So you can't be financially free in a year.
Because that's what you were saying earlier. You were saying that property isn't complicated, but it's not easy. And there is a difference between something that isn't complicated and something that isn't easy.
Yeah.
It's very sort of like simple to get to grips with, but then actually taking action on it isn't very easy at all.
Well, no, you have two types of humans. You have the humans who understand you have to put the work in to get what you want. And then you have the other type of humans who think that there's a shortcut to getting rich. And there is shortcuts to getting rich. It's called the National Lottery, scratch cards, betting on the right crypto at the right time. But they are all gambling. Getting rich in property is a process. It takes time. It takes connections. It takes learning what you're trying to do and just getting involved, being part of it. But like I said, it's not hard. It's not a hard thing to grasp. It's common sense. So
what was it then? So like when you first started out in property or when you first went full time into property, a lot of people talk about things like goal setting, like think to yourself, right, okay, I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. everybody is different at the end of the day. Some people want to have, like, say, financial freedom in a year. Some people want to have a Ferrari. Some people want to have a big house, whatever it is. What was it when you started? What was the goal that you had in mind that you wanted to achieve?
10 houses in the first year.
Okay, so it was property related then. So when
Yeah.
you started in property, it was all, you didn't really have any sort of materialistic things out there? Or?
It was 10. It was the properties I already had. I said, when we do this full time, I want to get 10 in the first year.
Yeah.
If we could get 10 in the first year, I feel like we've hit a milestone. We did that. I think we did it in about 7 months. And then it just turns into, right, I want 15, I want 20, I want 25. And that's how it grows. A final destination? No, I have no idea yet. Still early. I'm still young. Still got a long way to go. But every 6 months now, I have a goal. So I just set that goal, and I'm like, can I get there? Some you get to, some you don't.
So in sort of like current date today,
Yeah.
what is the current goal for you? What is it that you're looking to achieve now?
I would like to do 100 deal sources by the end of the year from now. From last week, actually, we talked about this. I would like to add another 25 properties to the portfolio. And I think I want to do my first building project this year. I'm not massive into building. It's not something I really desire. It's not something I want to build 50 houses or 60 houses.
So is it not something that you've sort of dived into at all yet? Have you not?
No, I've never built a house. I have land that I've got permission to build on 4 or 5 different properties I've got. Never really been into it, but I think I want to just build one just to say I've done it, understand the process and go through it. But I have no desires to become a 40, 50, 60 house builder in the future. I've got no desires for that whatsoever.
Yeah. So that's like your personal goal then. What is the goal and what is the plan for the property circle now then?
So the property circle's grown quicker than I actually expected it to. I always knew it would grow because when you know what you're talking about and you actually practice what you preach, people will buy into that.
People notice,
They'll see that you know what you're talking about. As our members now are like, wow, these guys are really good at what they do. So it's growing really fast.
And they enjoy themselves, as we saw on that Saturday night.
Yes, everybody had fun. James, Millie, life and soul at the party. And you, Max, obviously.
Nothing on James and Millie, no way.
No. And obviously Louis, our in-house YouTube wizard, had his first ever shot.
He did. He sat behind the camera at the minute, still drunk from that one shot.
Duna, that would be great if you could get that on the background of this. No, but the people in the circle are great. I've met some really good friends as well, to be fair, out of everyone that's in there.
And I guess that wasn't really the intention. Like, obviously, at the start, when you first created the property circle, the intention was to benefit everybody, like business-wise. But you have actually gained some personal friends from it, haven't you?
Yeah,
which is cool.
David.
Yeah.
I think all of us have made friends with David.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be David's friend. I got really close with David. I've got a lot of projects now with David. I think we bought 4 houses together the other day. So that's on his. So that's actually no. David bought his first one through us. He joint ventured on the second one with us, and then we bought 4 houses together the other day as just us in a company.
See, that's crazy because it all started, obviously, the property circle started from you having an idea, well, you, Isabella, and Jack having an idea, and Leon just sat in that room, empty room, saying, yeah, we want to help people to stop them from spending 15 grand on a course or whatever it is. And now look at what's happening. You're buying houses with people. You're joint venturing with people.
Yeah. So, and then we got Matthew Cox.
Yeah.
Just bought his first ever house, 9-bedroom.
That video is mad. If you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely need to watch that because that is crazy. That house is unreal.
He's got a great house. We found him that we knew the people in the auction house. We got a deal done. We bought it out of auction for him. He purchased it outright, and we're at a stage now where it's the horrible stage for him. So he got the house, he bought the house, he completed in 9 days. He used our solicitors and it was so fast, everything happened so fast. But now he's hit the shitty stage of the property world, the architect drawing, the planning permission, the dealing with the council backwards and forwards. So now he's raring to go, but the last 5 weeks have been a bit of a slow process. But as you get
like a lot of admin work, the boring stuff, basically.
But it's the important stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all nice getting the keys, buying the house, looking at the final end value and all that kind of stuff. But you've got to look at what's in between.
Yeah.
So even though he's probably sitting at home now thinking, oh, this is taking a while, he's got to understand there's a process with this, which he does because he's a very intelligent guy as well.
Yeah.
Very intelligent guy.
You just have a conversation with him and I feel like my brain is just like doubled in size.
Yeah,
just
he's a very
having
intelligent guy.
with
He's a really nice guy. So he's become a friend as well.
Yeah.
And then,
I mean, that leads me quite nicely onto a question that I wanted to ask you then. So what have the members, I mean, you don't have to name people. If you want to name people, then great. But what have the members achieved so far? Obviously, Matt Cox has bought a house. David's bought a house.
David's bought 6.
David's bought 6 houses.
David's bought 6 houses.
You know, I find really cool how people are like doing amazing at deal sourcing as well. Like
Fantastic.
Lynette and Craig.
Yeah.
Like I could name 10 people, but them two, they are just blowing it out of the water.
Yeah, Lynette's very, very, very good at deal sourcing. She just needs a bit more practice at closing the deals. She was speaking to me 2 days ago about it, but she's really good. Craig Fox sold us a deal.
Yeah.
We bought a deal from Craig, a great one as well, got us a great price. Tom Day, he bought us this house that we got for, I think, £10,000 under market value.
Yeah, smashing it as well. Yeah.
So we bought that off him. I think you're going down this week to see that
We
one
are,
as well,
yeah,
actually.
we are.
We're going to
It's
shoot
gonna
a
be
YouTube video on that.
Very cool.
If I've missed anyone out, I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people in the group that have got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
A lot of potential. And they're all working together. They're working outside. So we just had a meeting with somebody. You all saw us in the office with one of the members.
Yeah.
She's working with one of the other members and they're doing a joint venture together. And she was just running through some numbers with us, making sure everything was there. She wanted us to provide her a couple of contracts for security. So they're working with each other as well.
Again, it's things like that. Like it's so like for you guys, it's just so easy and simple because you've been doing it for so many years. But some people just wouldn't know what a contract looks like, wouldn't know what an AST looks like or anything like that.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the circle.
Yeah. And then again, coming back to the point where it's not complicated. Like when you really look at it, it is just a simple sort of process. It's just difficult to put it into action and to actually go and do it.
Yeah. Human beings overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
But if you can uncomplicate it, it becomes easy.
So I think all of like, obviously you've got quite a bit of following on Instagram now after the last, like, it's not even been that long, after like 13 months of being, or 14 months of being on Instagram and stuff like that. All of these people that are in the group, I think a lot of them would happily sit there and say that they look up to you as somebody that is doing well within property, somebody that they can follow and think, you know what, he's clearly doing something well. So I want to sort of try and mirror that or do something similar to that. So who is it that you take inspiration from and look up to? And is there anybody that you've got in mind?
Yeah, so my team, as in you, Duna, Louis, Doc, and obviously my Isabella, you guys are the reason that a lot of this happens. You know, it's not just people seeing me on social media and they're like, yes, I might have the fancy cars and all that kind of stuff. But without you guys, I wouldn't be able to do what we do. So you guys massively, every day you all give effort, apart from Max, sometimes you slack. I'm only joking. But no, you guys, every day when I come in, the smile on your faces and the fact that you all want to work consistently is key. I have a few people around me that are very important. Friends from the past, like I said, someone who is from where I'm from and we've been very close for the last 20 years of our lives. He really helps me a lot. I like Elon Musk. I think
You do like Elon Musk, actually.
Yeah, I
you
do
talk
have
about him.
like a big thing about him. I don't think he's human. I actually genuinely don't think the guy.
Yeah, I see a lot of people saying things like, oh, he's an alien. I genuinely think he's an alien.
Yeah, like how do you like say today I said to you, oh Max, I want to dig some tunnels under the town. Who do you contact?
I don't even, I'd look at you and be like, what are you talking about now, Stu?
Yeah,
What are you talking about now?
where'd you go?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Who do you speak to even get permission to do something like that?
I would have no idea.
How are you launching satellites into space as just a regular person?
Working like alongside NASA. He's an alien.
Yeah, there is something, but yeah, I like Elon. I think he's really important for us. I think he's going to change the
A lot
future.
of people call him like a real life Iron Man.
Yeah, well, that's probably because he's got billions of pounds and he's got all anything. He makes his own cars.
I was going to say he probably has got like a rocket suit or something lying about somewhere.
But no, I like him, and I think he's got the right idea. And if you look at the certain things, I mean, he put a tweet out the other day saying if the dinosaurs had built spaceships, they would still be alive today. They wouldn't be extinct.
So do you think he's trying to hint that
It could happen to us? So he's trying to create what he's creating to save us. And if you look at it in that way, you're like, wow, this guy's on a whole different level.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm not trying to save the planet. And I know you're not trying to save the planet. Exactly. So there's a lot of us not trying to save the planet, yet he is.
Yeah.
So if you actually listen to what he says and look beyond all the nonsense that's there.
I was going to say, so you've not really mentioned anything actually business related in that regards then, in terms of Elon. I can imagine that there is a lot of business related stuff that you look up to, but is it just like, he seems like he's got decent morals actually, saying when you say
he's trying to save the planet.
Yeah.
Like I said, no one else I know is trying to save the planet. I've never heard that one. But yeah, I like him. I think Jay-Z was amazing. I think from what Jay-Z's done and to where he is today, where he's come from in his life, and he speaks so openly about it. Wow, that guy is a force to be reckoned with.
I don't really know too much about Jay-Z.
Yeah, he's a force to be reckoned with. And then you've got all your typical types of people that everyone says, like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and stuff like that, which they have. They have changed the world.
They're very innovative, aren't they? Very creative, and they just come up with crazy new ideas.
Yeah. But again, I think that's got a lot to do with who they surround themselves with.
Yeah.
I don't think they just sit there thinking up these ideas. I think they have a team.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you are a product of your own environment. And if you look at things like different environments, like, say, is it the Google HQ or something like that? And you look inside that, just like literally Google the Google HQ. And it's just so like creative and just like, it's an environment where you want to be in. People, I can imagine just an unbelievable amount of ideas flowing through a place like that, and you can't imagine Steve Jobs or anyone like that.
No, well, Gymshark.
Gymshark as well. Yeah, Gymshark HQ.
Yeah, created the same thing. Ben Francis, Lewis Morgan.
And all you ever hear is people talking about how much they love working at Gymshark and how hard they work, and flipping it. Look at where they've come from and to where they are now.
A lot of people probably don't give Lewis Morgan and Ben Francis enough credit.
Yeah.
They all see what they did because they posted, like, when they started their business, and they were sewing the labels into their vests, and they was doing the body power and stuff.
That much, isn't it, compared to what they've actually done?
No one can really see what they actually did.
No,
because I don't think you can ever show it.
No,
because a lot of the stuff that probably made them where they are today was never recorded. It was never filmed and spoken about. So,
I think it took a lot of balls for Ben Francis to step down from where he was to then.
You say a lot of balls. That's genius.
Yeah.
That's understanding your capabilities and where you can take something.
Surround yourself with people that are better, like you said earlier, better than yourself at certain things.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you said earlier with ego.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't step aside because their ego won't let them. Ben Francis knew he had done what he could do to get it to where he could get it to, and he knew to go to the next level, he needed to concentrate on what he was good at and get somebody in to kind of run a business side of it.
Yeah.
So Ben Francis's move, to me, is actually genius.
Mm.
And I don't think they get enough credit. They get a lot of social media credit, but the credit in what they've achieved, and again, I say Lewis Morgan because he was the founder.
Yeah.
So without him, again, it wouldn't be where it is today. So Lewis Morgan and Ben Francis, I like them a lot.
I was going to say, would you maybe say that you take inspiration from them, or just like respect them massively as businessmen?
Massively respect them for what they've done.
Yeah.
I think they're incredible. And like I said, if I ever had a time where I felt I couldn't take the property circle to the next level, I would definitely step aside and let someone else do it because I've watched Ben Francis do it.
Exactly, yeah, and look how well that's worked.
Exactly. So yeah, I like them too. There was a guy from when I was younger, I was about 13 years old, and where I grew up in Wolverhampton way, there was a car place called Motorades, and it was kind of like a Halfords, and the owner used to be this guy who had a blue BMW, and on his blue BMW, he had a number plate, and the number plate was MAB and then 3 numbers. And underneath the number plate was his name, Michael Andrew Bennett. And I was walking across his car park one morning with a couple of the lads who was going to play football. And I saw his number plate, saw his name, and I said to him, I was like, that's so cool. Like having your name on a car. Wow, that's incredible. I'd never seen it before.
How old were you? Sorry, did you say
13, I think.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's so cool. My mates who I was with had no idea what I was talking about. They just thought it was a normal number plate.
Just wanted to have a kick
obviously-
about, couldn't really.
And he got out of his car and I was like, that's so cool having your name on a car. And he actually looked at me and he says, well, mate, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's easy for you to do it.
I want to do it now.
Yeah, like, what do I do? And
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember that all the time. I talk about it all the time. So that was a big... He had an influence on me without knowing he had an influence on me, because for the next 7, 8, 9 years, up until I was like 21, I was like, I've got to get a number plate on a car that I own.
You know, it'd be really cool if we got Michael Andrew Bennett on the podcast.
I don't even know where he would be.
Yeah,
I don't know. I never saw him again. And Motorrades in the end got knocked down and a shop was built there. So I don't even know where he was from. I don't know anything about him actually. To be fair. I just used to see him every weekend for like 7, 8 years of my life, pulling up at work on a Saturday and Sunday.
That's crazy. So from now then, what would you say would be the next steps for you from today?
So the property circle is going at a rate that I'm happy with. I would like to expand it quicker, but I'm not going to. I'm going to let it take its course.
Yeah.
Let it go naturally. We had a great meeting this weekend. We're setting up a mortgage brokerage firm inside the property circle.
Yeah.
For residential and buy to let. So that's going to take action over the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm really looking forward to that. The education side of it, we'll just carry on doing what we do. Take every week as it comes and see how that goes. Keep helping the people who want to be helped in the circle and keep doing what we're doing, and just reevaluate it at the end of the year, see where we are. We started the YouTube channel, which I think is going to be absolutely huge. I genuinely believe in the property market on social media, we will take over.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe that. And I want to work alongside all the other people in the property market because it's a small niche. As Louis, you always say, the property market in the UK on social media is a very small niche.
I feel like everyone knows everyone as well.
Everyone knows everyone. And this week I did spend a lot of time sending out some DMs to people I don't know.
Yeah.
And they responded quite quick. And a few of them are coming on the podcast over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, we have actually got a list of guests lined up that is going to be so cool. I can't wait.
And what's really cool is that they are messaging now saying, like, when am I on? We haven't even launched the podcast yet, and they're actually saying, when am I on?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. We've got some really cool people who, I'm really looking forward to meeting.
Tyrone Ash.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to meeting him and understanding how his mind works, because what he's created with that real estate.
Yeah, it's just innovation, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable the way he's done it. He'll probably sit here next week and say to me, it's common sense.
Yeah.
It's dead simple, but I really like what he's done.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to meeting him. Justin Wilkins.
Yeah.
Really
Another
looking
cool
forward to
character.
having a chat with him.
Yeah.
And obviously the one that everybody wants us to speak to is actually here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Samuel Leeds.
That's going to be really cool.
Whatever you think about Samuel Leeds and whatever your opinions are on Samuel Leeds, he has changed the way the property was looked at in the UK.
Yeah.
So you have to take your hat off to him and give him his credit.
I think that's what we're going to find out, obviously, from him when we do ask him some questions and things like that. I think he's going to be great to have on and speak to, just to have a conversation with him, maybe whether he needs to clear anything up or just a case of having a general chat about property, where he came from, what his story was. Because I don't really think he sort of briefly mentioned it, but he's not really touched on it too much to an extent where we can actually find out what was the reason why he got into property.
Well, I've had dinner with Samuel way prior to any of this.
Yeah.
Where we live, and he's a very interesting guy, the most energetic guy I've ever met, more energetic than you.
Yeah.
And that's saying something. And for every 10 successful people he helps, the one that doesn't really do as well as it could do is the one that's going to get noise.
And that's like, it's just the society nowadays, isn't it? It's like people really only reflect over the negative stuff. They don't really take a step back to really appreciate the positive stuff.
No. So I'm really, really looking forward to speaking to Samuel
Yeah.
and understanding his mind and how it works better. And also another guy that I really want to get on and have a chat with is a guy who goes by the name of Property by Kazi.
Yeah.
I think we all know
You
in
talk
this
about
room
him,
who he
yeah,
is. I
quite
talk
a lot.
about him a lot. I'm really interested in speaking to him. I have spoke to him, and he said he's very busy for the next couple of months. So I'm looking forward to having that conversation as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
I think overall it's going to be really cool having these guests coming on, obviously talking about their story, talking about property in general, trying to provide as much value as possible from all different perspectives of property, because there are so many different opinions about it. There's so many different routes for you to take. So I think if we can get as many guests on as possible to talk about that.
Yeah. Plus, I want to separate the idiots.
Yeah.
I want to work with the people in property who also want to create a network.
Yeah.
Just because everyone's got separate YouTube channels and separate brands and they teach separate education programs doesn't mean they can't work together.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. I'd really like to create like a UK masterclass, which I think would be really cool, where you could take like 4, 5, 6 of the biggest property social media people, put them all in the same room together, get everyone's following in the same room, and then get everyone's perspectives in one place.
I think that would be a little bit of an Elon Musk maneuver. I'd like that. That'd be cool.
Well, yeah, I actually would think that is something that would work. Not sure who would want to do it, because a lot of people are out for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something I want to do, and I think if we have conversations with the right people and they understand what we're trying to achieve, they'll do it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be really cool. I think the whole podcast in itself is going to be amazing. So, well, brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much, obviously, for coming on and talking about your story and talking to obviously explaining to everyone where you came from, what the plan is for the future, and what the plan is with the Property Circle. Obviously, guys, if you haven't already, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely tick the notification bell, because, well, Samuel Leeds is going to be our next guest, so you're not going to want to miss that. So, from myself, Max Rollinson, and Stephen Hamilton, who has been a great guest today, catch you next video.